hop on down to those guys. Looks like they're drawing up their 7 cards here. Brad and I are having a great time as usual. This is a good one. This is a good one.
We're having a good time at Champs. We know the players are as well. We've had a lot of great feedback from both the viewers as well as the players, and that's something very excited about.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I know I interviewed, I think I was joking around, I interviewed 19 or 20 players yesterday. All the guys that were competing, minus a few, couldn't make it until today. Everybody told me that they were looking forward to playing 5Ks next year and having better competition, more players. So we got a bunch of viewers today. Hopefully everybody's able to make it out to some of these $5,000 tournaments. Just tons and tons of money on the line.
And if you're not in the Midwest, like, we're doing coverage on every single one of these events. So if you're here, subscribe. We're going to have subscriber benefits eventually. We'll definitely be looking to, individuals who have had a longer subscription to like turn into mods, things like that. Hit that follow button. You'll get notified when we go live. We have a lot of things we're going to do on this channel in the future.
Yeah, Steve's hand is basically an affinity hand at this point. He's gone. He went a Noble Hierarch on turn 1 into a Supreme Phantom and an Aether Vial on turn 2. So, looking pretty good. John Hobbs' first play is Fetch Land into a Sacred Foundry. So we'll see kind of where he goes. Let's see what we got.
And we did get to see the tray on camera just briefly, didn't we?
We did see the tray. I don't know.
Was it just us, or was it just
we
the
might have
viewers?
only. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it might have just been us.
I don't think I panned out to it because I saw the tray and I was like, "There's no way I'm showing this on the camera." I see Rick from BCW in the chat there. He says, "Sounds like Tito's might be needed after this." When is Tito's not needed? I wish they would sponsor the series.
Tito's? I'm sure you do.
Good to see you hanging out there in chat and checking out our Nerd Age Gaming Championship. This is a great event, man. I did the one last year.
Man, the improvement from this year to
it's just so much different. Yeah. We've done a bunch of improvements and
invest a lot of money.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Equipment, the screen behind us,
everything, you name it.
It's loving it.
So John Hobbs is doing a little bit of thinking here.
And this is something we've seen when he played in Lafayette, which is he's just very critical thinking, takes his time, really utilizes his clock.
There's a braid on the Supreme Phantom. Okay, I'm a big Jonathan Hobbs fan, just so you know.
I know.
He's
rooted for him to win the pod.
I said he was going to win the pod. He has to win this match now.
And what's crazy is this win puts both players at 2-2. If Steve wins, right?
Yeah.
So
we're just back to
and
back
the
to
pods
square
are
one.
back to super close.
Yeah, the pods. Now we have a live update going as well, and if you hit !NRG standings, you can check out the live updates as well to see kind of where the players stand within their pods. And it looks like the Knight of Autumn comes down. You like Knight of Autumn in this matchup against Jaskai Control? Just another body?
It's another threat. Not the greatest, but I would think if you have things to take out, you can bring it in.
Wow.
Unified Will and a Spell Queller. Wow.
Those cards are both problematic, but if you know about them, you can play around them. Now, there's no blue mana sans this Noble Hierarch for Steve.
Yeah.
So it's interesting here. See if John lets him keep him or if he sends one back.
I'm gonna guess Queller goes. But
it is annoying.
But Will is, certainly a problem too.
Supreme Will, you can just kind of. I feel like you can play around that card a little
Unified
bit.
Will?
Yeah. You can play around both, I guess, but it's definitely beneficial to know about the cards, right, rather than just be in the dark here.
Queller, I think, is easier to play around.
That's
because
fair.
Especially given the current board state. It's not like Andrew's board state where you had Wander and Thalia.
Yeah.
This is you letting them keep them both.
Yeah.
It's probably a bad sign.
For Steve. Yeah, Steve's in a lot of trouble here.
Well, this Knight does get in.
This always happens. When your opponent Vendilion clicks you, looks at your hand, and just kind of laughs and says, keep them both. It feels awful.
Yeah, so this Knight of Autumn will be a 5/4, so it does block, cannot be blocked by this Vendilion click.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes here for Steve. John's not under a lot of pressure, and he's got a bunch of things like Lightning Helix in his deck, where it's just these kind of small chips aren't really going to matter a ton. There's no Fireball or Reach kind of things out of Steve's deck, where the Humans deck used to play. I can't remember the name of the card. It was red at one point.
Oh, Conscripts, right?
Yeah, Conscripts.
Yeah.
Zealous Conscripts, where it used to just kind of get you out of nowhere. Not really something he's considering, so I think John's in a really great
So
shape.
if John was like clicking last turn,
He has a Snapcaster Mage in his hand. I think he just drew for the turn, so this Abrade's going to be really good too.
do you quell the snap or do you quell the abrade? Do you think?
That's
Which
tough.
is more dangerous? Probably just the snap.
The
right?
snap's pretty good, yeah.
Malcontents.
Kessig Malcontents,
That's
thank
what
you.
it was. Thank you, Vic.
Zealous Conscripts is a different card.
It is.
All right, so looks like in Steve's upkeep here, we're going to go ahead and try and path to exile this Knight of Autumn. And John has a Snapcaster now, too. John's got a lot going on.
I think.
So he's making Steve pick Unified Will or Spell Queller here. It's just a tough decision for Steve. Steve's in a lot of trouble.
He could also just let it resolve. I'm not a huge fan of that, but this path pretty much signifies like a Snapcaster.
Yeah, Snapcaster.
Like if you know about the cards in my hand and this is your line of play, you probably have a Snapcaster.
I agree.
Or a second path or both.
Yes, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and I agree with JPD's assumption that if he had a verdict, he would have blocked. There is also some thought to not blocking. Steve puts a little bit more onto the board, and then he verdicts.
Yeah, that's true.
Because John can use his life total a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Steve's certainly in some trouble.
Yeah, he's definitely not in a great spot here. Let's see how it goes here.
I'm trying to
Bring up Steve's list. Yeah, that's okay. I was just checking how many more he had. I know he has the he had the one. He has a couple Unified Wills actually in his deck. A little bit different than Andrew Tendrum's deck list here.
Yeah, some of the same cards, but definitely a little different.
Wow.
So, click blocking Noble is a little interesting to me.
Yeah, Jonathan's in this point now where he's trying to preserve his life total, I guess. It also cuts him off a mana source.
Yeah,
it's not the worst.
But you've got Vial and now 4 lands, so it's tricky.
All right, so John going to go ahead and get second Hallowed Fountain out of his deck here. I still think he's in a good spot. He's got at least one Snapcaster Mage in hand. I wonder if there's consideration like Snap and abrading this Aether Vial now, or do you not think that's good enough?
It might be a little aggressive.
You also know that he has the Spell Queller in hand, so.
Well, Steve's hand is pretty known, right? So you can still play around things. I'm not sure. Not sure that's worthwhile.
Okay.
He has all the mana he needs. Steve does. I mean, instant speed is very good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, John Hobbs, I spoke to him after he was 2-0, and I said, what do you want to play against this round? He said, give me all the spirits and creature-based decks possible. So, because he took a hard loss to the Hardened Scales deck, which seems difficult. I mean, Experimental Frenzy came down and just ran away with the
animation modules were doing good real work, and he was proliferating infect damage. And
Steve activating Aether Vial here. Going to go ahead and put another Knight of Autumn. Maybe this is good. Maybe it's good enough just as a giant body.
A 4/3 seems good to me. Can't be blocked by Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah.
And he also has a Spell Queller back up here.
Yep. We got Queller, so John doing a little bit of thinking here. He knows about the Queller.
Yeah, and I think John's thinking like, okay, I can Snap Path, right? And then I'm going to get quelled.
Yep.
And then I can Snap Path again.
Next turn, yeah.
No, like the same turn. Like he has 2 Snapcaster Mages. So he goes
He's got 5 mana total.
Right, so he goes Snap, right? And then that gets quelled.
Yep.
And then he snaps past the Queller and casts the Snap again.
Sure thing.
The problem with that line of play is he is losing a little bit of value on the second Snap because he won't be able to cast anything.
That's fair.
Is that a Cocoa I see?
I believe it's a Unified Will still. It's still the Unified Will from in his hand from earlier, yeah.
Right.
So we know 2 cards in Steve's hand, as does John. Steve going to fetch down here from 15 down to 13.
So this is interesting. Because if he Unified Wills, John can just cast us another Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah, it's brutal. I don't know if I always put my opponent on having 2 Snapcasters in the first 15 cards. So, yeah, it's rough. So he goes for... Looks like he's going for the Unified Will here.
I agree.
And there's a Snapcaster. Steve going to arrange a stack for us very nicely. Thank you, sir. And this is all at John's end step, if I'm remembering correctly.
Correct.
Here. Okay.
That is correct, yes.
Get this.
So the unified will not do anything.
Yep, because now he has 2 creatures.
Right. Well, he has 1. He has, as you need to have more creatures than your opponent.
Yes.
And they had equal creatures.
Yes.
So then the second snap will resolve and will pass
Yep.
the Knight of Autumn.
So
I guess
again,
the first one.
Yeah, so again, this is a part of where you can play around cards like Unified Will if you know about them, and John playing around it pretty expertly there. So.
But that is a lot of resources expelled.
Sure is.
Like, he didn't get to use the Snapcaster Mage, so he pretty much just played a 2-1.
Yep.
And, like, 2-1s are not good against Spellqueller.
That is accurate. So Steve has, obviously, Spellqueller in hand. He's going to go ahead and draw a card with this Horizon Canopy.
That...
I can't tell. I think it's... he definitely has 1 land in hand. I thought it might have been a second breeding pool there.
I think you might be right.
Or the first breeding pool, excuse me. Yeah, so I think Steve's hand is just a Spellqueller and another land, so...
And a little bit of reprieve for Steve is that John doesn't have a Colonnade.
Yeah, Colonnade's very good in this matchup.
Yeah.
So John Hobbs kind of deciding, taking a peek, and he's going to go ahead and smack in with both of these Snapcaster Mages. And John has him covered here. He's got a Electrolyze in hand, too. So if Steve wants to send this in and start blocking, John's totally okay with that at this point.
No, I don't think there was a misplay anywhere. That I saw, anyway.
All right, so Steve kind of thinking whether it's worth it to try and get this Spellqueller in combat or not. So he's gonna Violet in. He's probably gonna try and move to blocks here, and I think John's just totally okay with this. Gonna mark 2 damage on that. What if it's before blocks to try and find something else?
Wow, that's tricky if it is.
I wonder.
Because it doesn't die, right?
Right.
So then you just don't block this turn and take 4?
Yeah, I wonder if that if this is before blocks or not. We're gonna find out from our floor judge real quick. So he's done 1 to Steve, putting Steve to 11, and 1 to the Spellqueller, and he's gonna draw a card. And there's a Path to Exile, I believe. So
it's real interesting.
is it
Pre-blocks.
Was pre-blocks,
Yeah,
okay.
Pre-blocks.
So he's making Steve decide if he wants to block now.
He doesn't have a Colonnade, so I don't know that I'm blocking. We'll see what Steve decides. He's gonna think about this one a bit. Yep.
All right, gonna take 4 down to. I think Steve should be down to 7 because the 1 from the Electrolyze also. He might want to confirm that one. And then John gonna go ahead and path this this Spellqueller now. He's not gonna give Steve a chance to draw either a Drog Skull Captain or another Spellqueller or something like that.
Right.
All right, so John Hobbs has got no cards left. Steve has 1 card, but I think it's a Misty Rainforest. So Steve looking for Collected Company here is a big hit.
That's a huge card.
Selfless Spirit is not great. It's not awful, but not great.
It blocks. Trades.
Yeah, trades. It simplifies the board again. I mean, he's still just digging for these haymakers like a Collected Company. John Hobbs is just looking to end the game.
He found a spell.
Yep, looked like it. So here we go. Going to trade off with a Selfless Spirit there. Steve Locke going to go down to 6.
Pretty expected, I think. There's a Rattle Chain.
Yeah, look at Rattle. We're just trading again.
Same deal.
Yeah, it looks like a Logic Knot picked up there. And a Hieroglyphic Illumination. So this is going to end kind of poorly here. He's got a Logic Knot. And Jonathan has a stacked graveyard at this point in the game.
Right.
What's up, TJ? Good to see you. It's been going well. We've been having a lot of fun here and moving along here. We're in our 4th round, our 2nd round of Modern, and we're going to go into Standard after this, which is cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. More lands from Steve.
You put Steve down to 3 here, I believe. He's got a snap or another bolt here.
You can kind of see how...
Another bolt. All right. John Hobbs going to go to 3-1. Steve Locke down to 1 and 3.
And you can kind of see how Jonathan approaches the matchup in the way that game played out. Like, he he realizes that like he's kind of a bad burn deck at that point in the game.
Yeah.
And he's just like trying to push damage with these Snapcaster Mages.
I agree.
And it worked out.
I agree. Yeah. So, like you said, he has found his role.
Yeah.
At the end, he got, Steve controlled the board. He controlled the board of Steve's a little bit, put a couple snaps in, decided he wanted to end the game quickly, and just got the job done.
And if you want to know how to play that matchup, go back and watch Tenjin play it because you want Thalias and you want Mausoleum Hunters.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Knight of Autumn, just okay.
Yeah, those were like completely opposite matches. We watched the same. We watched the same two decks battle, and it was just completely different.
Yep.
So welcome to Modern, I guess.
Yeah,
So.